RX Paris, one of the attorneys representing the victims of Porter Ranch.
First, just get this out of the way, can you just tell us in a nutshell why the judge said restitution didn't apply in this case?
Mr. Paris, can you look at the cameras? Thank you.
Well, because the district attorney didn't request it at the end of the day. You can spend hours talking around it. The fact of the matter is the district attorney's office waived restitution. I don't know how else to say it. I don't presume to know their motives, but I do know that's what they did.
But weren't they saying that it didn't really apply to that count?
Well, there's a legal technicality there, but the count 4 that it did apply to was the release of the hazardous substance. There's no defense to that. They've been doing it for years. They just did a whole lot of it the day the well blew. Right? There's no defense. And it's the failure to report that hazardous release that they actually pled guilty to. So the question is that a predicate act? Of course it is. The reality, I think, but again, I'm looking at motives, is the system has never had to deal with something of this magnitude. And so they're just kind of, they do what government does. They pass it back and forth to each other, But these are very real people, that have been horribly treated, and they continue to horribly treat them. And Southern California Gas continues to violate the law. I mean, a day does not go by. They're not releasing this crap into the air. They're just not releasing as much of it. And the law says you don't release it at all. So, it's frustrating for us.
What is the significance of the judge's decision for the residents?
Well, the civil case will go on. It's going to take a lot longer. Really, that's the ultimate result of it. The law in California is that if you hurt somebody with a criminal act, you pay what it costs them, and there's nothing hard about it. It's hard to calculate, but the way I was raised, just because it's hard doesn't mean you don't do it. Some things are hard. I find it regrettable that so many of the regulatory agencies in this case are not wanting to do the hard work.
Would you refer to this as a setback for your efforts?
No. 2 months ago, I was the only one who thought we should do it. So,
Mr. Press, what, if any, impact does this have on the civil cases?
Well, it would certainly have a positive impact had they made them either be accountable for all 4 counts. Although in this case, the judge in the civil cases repeatedly asked them, can you articulate a defense? And they can't. So, it's a nebulous difference. But had they pled guilty to all of it, then that would have been off the table, and we would just be going forward with damages.
And so what is the next step for the civil cases?
Well, we're going to file a writ in the appellate court on this within the week, which is exactly what would happen if it had gone the other way. And the civil case will continue on.
So you're appealing?
Oh, of course. I mean, we knew we were going to have to appeal the day we filed the initial motion. We were surprised that the DA took a position. Where's Brent? As Brent said, I mean, he's been a DA for 35 years. He's never seen a district attorney's office argue against the victims. And that's what we saw here today.
Why do you think that happened? Look at that. I'm sorry.
I've been doing this 35 years, and I've learned not to speculate as to people's motives. I'm usually wrong. I don't know why they did that, but I do know it is the first time it's ever been done. And it's regrettable because let's face it, this is a multi-billion-dollar company, and they're the last people who should be given breaks, and that's what this is. Anything else?
Can the residents maybe speak?
I'm sorry, what?
Can any of the residents speak?
Sure, of course.
Oh, the woman who stood up, and I think you stood up there in the end of the gallery?
No, she's got to speak last because it's going to take a while. Danielle, you? Sure.
I feel that the DA was on SoCal Gas's side, and they're supposed to represent us, and they didn't. And
What was your
Now we have
personal
to appeal it.
impact or your story?
I'm a local Porter Ranch resident, and I'm a real estate agent. And I grew up in Porter Ranch, and I work, live, my family was there, and my whole life was turned upside down. And I had to relocate out of my beautiful home into a one-bedroom. And during all this chaos and stress and anxiety, I got pregnant. I'm actually due tomorrow.
Oh my God.
But I made it out today because I thought it was important for them to hear my story.
What's
So
your
many
name?
compelling statements today.
Danielle Rabati.
Spell your last name.
R-A, B as in boy, A, D as in dog, I.
What's your baby's name?
We're not sure yet.
Danielle, how much look did you have today that, with all the emotional statements that were made in testimony, that you guys would sway the judge's decision?
I, thought that, he would hear us out and take our side. I mean, we have no say in this. They didn't, SoCal Gas, it continues to leak. They don't tell us. They don't tell us when we are supposed to file stuff. We don't have any say in this at all. And then the DA just sticks it to us.
Now, the company argues they paid for your, they reimbursed housing, they reimbursed.
They didn't. What they paid is they paid the landlords. They didn't pay us. We didn't get checks. And I think my mileage was $1.50. Are you kidding me? Really?
You mean your reimbursement?
Yeah, it was $1.50. I was embarrassed to take the check to the bank. I mean, that was my reimbursement.
Let me break it one second.
Yeah.
The gas company has really pulled a scam on all of us. You have people hardworking families who have multi-million-dollar homes that they magnanimously, after months of begging, put them in a two-bedroom hotel room and say that we've given you alternate housing. Come on. It's like saying, okay, you can pitch your tent here and we've fulfilled our obligation to you. There isn't any dispute here. You took these people out of their homes. What is the value of the rental of that specific house? And why haven't you written them a check? Because they're trying to cheat them out of it. It really is that simple. And as a defense, they say, well, we spent $500 million. First of all, I don't know if they have or haven't. I don't know how much of that went to their PR consultants and their lobbyists that have been dealing with this case. But it doesn't matter. What matters is what you owe them, what was taken from them. Pay back what was taken. That's not that hard to figure out. And the fact they refuse to do it is for one simple reason. It's greed. It's they want to cheat them out of more.
Why couldn't you have just gone the civil case route instead of?
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, why couldn't you just pursue this in the civil case route instead of going, seeking reimbursement in the criminal case?
Well, we're going to continue along this track in the Court of Appeals, and we'll continue with the civil case. There's greater compensation in the restitution than there is in the civil action. There's a lot of things that just the rules drain out of the case. And then there's also just the enormity of it. Are these people ever going to be fully compensated? Depends on a lot of things, but not everybody's going to be equally compensated, and not everybody's going to be fully compensated.
So you're saying it'd be much more advantageous to have it awarded as part of a criminal case?
Oh yeah, no
Okay.
question,
Okay.
no question. Burden of proof is different, the procedure is different, but it is a lot of work.
Is this the only criminal case regarding this?
Amazingly, that's true. Now keep in mind, the law is you cannot release this hazardous crap into the environment. There isn't any excuses, there isn't any exceptions, that's the law. But they're doing it today. They're doing it today. There's hundreds and hundreds of unremediated abandoned wells. And all of that stuff they're storing is coming out into these people's homes. That's been happening for 25 years, and it's happening today. That is a crime as of 2014. Why aren't the people, the state of California, enforcing that law? You and I both know the answer to that. It's because of lobbyists and politics. I mean, why do we dance around that subject? It couldn't be any more black and white. But then some people say I'm too passionate about this.
Any more questions?
Oh, wait payment. We're not going to miss this street.
Okay, I've lived there 42 years. I'm not going to go over my whole story because it's too long. But I am going to tell you that it's still leaking up there. That whole mountain is permeated with what leaked. And it's still leaking, and they're saying it's safe up there. It's not. We have leaks all the time. They even said under oath it leaks 2 times a day. Okay? Now, what the district attorney said, I feel raped. I do. They're supposed to represent us, the people. They're not. They raped us as far as I'm concerned. I feel like a rape victim. They didn't represent me or anybody else in Porter Ranch or the surrounding communities. They went with the SoCal Gas. They combined with them. And they're not representing us at all. I feel horrible, and I don't feel represented at all by them. I don't feel protected by them, by LA City or LA County or anything. I'm just disgusted with them. And I think they owe us all an apology and should go back to court. I feel the judge, I feel he listened to us, and if he had his ways, he would have helped us, but he didn't. And I forgot to bring all my oil things in today. I will bring them in next time. Believe me, I have all these oil filters from my cars, from my house, from everything that are all soaked with all these things that I will bring in to show them next time.
Give us your name again.
Maureen Capra,
Spell your last name.
CAPRA.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, before we quit, I want you to talk to Matt. He was the first one on this. He was the first one who organized the community. He was the first one to speak out. I'm not sure that any of this would have come to light but for him. But they were doing a very good job of keeping this a secret, and even throughout it, saying that it was just methane when they knew absolutely for certain that that was a lie. And it hadn't been for Matt, I don't know what the result would have been.
Thank you, Rex.
Please say Porter
Thank you, Rex. My name is Matt Pacucco, Pakucko, president and co-founder of Save Porter Ranch and a 9-year resident of Porter Ranch. So, that place is still leaking. People are still getting sick. Our group knows about it. We have heard that testimony you heard today, all these illnesses. We've heard that dozens and dozens of times at every kind of hearing, every kind of meeting, every kind of rally, including a few weeks ago at our 1-year anniversary of this blowout. So that stuff is still going on. It's nothing new. Now we know how our elected district attorney and other government officials are going to help us. They're not. They're clearly, that was a SoCal Gas defense attorney speaking when our DA got up there. Somehow she forgot who she's working for. Well, we know that no one's going to help us when that facility blows out the next time. No one's helping us now while it continues to leak. The only solution to ensure the health and safety of the North San Fernando Valley is to shut that facility down permanently, decommission it, and that's the end of that story. That's the only way we're going to be safe. Thank you.
Okay, any more questions? Good. Before you leave, we did hire a consultant from the oil industry to come in. He was one of the people on the Horizon, what was that new group? The oil derrick that blew up and polluted the
Deepwater Horizon.
Yeah. And when we were telling him why we wanted him to teach us everything there was to know about wells and injection wells and all that, we tell him the story. He starts crying. And the reason he started crying was because how could they possibly convince us that it's okay for our children to have nosebleeds because of what they're breathing, and that is somehow okay? But all of us fell for that big lie for some period of time. And when you think of how horrendous that is, they're convincing us it's okay that they poison our children, because there's nothing else you can call that. And I think all of us bear some level of accountability for not seeing through just how nefarious this company is. I mean, I don't know of anything more evil than that. And we should remember that as the years roll on and as they tell us how safe it's going to be. when they fix these various issues. It's not. And you cannot believe one word they say. Thank you.